Please note that the content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and not substitute for professional mental health advice. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please contact your local emergency services by dialing 911. For immediate emotional support, you can also reach the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling or texting 988. Remember, help is always available.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are back in this 2025. This is episode 1 of our season 2. And I'm super excited to be back and have conversations. And this conversation is going to be beautiful. I already know it. And today we have Claudia Azucena Perez. She is a natural healer and she holds many titles, as many of us women do, right? We hold a lot of titles in ourselves that we have earned, that we have worked for so hard. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and share all the beautiful things that she is doing because it's a lot of them. But I just want to welcome you, and as we start this conversation, to be open to receiving this information, to see what are some of the lessons that you can also pull from our own experience, from Claudia's and from mine, to see how they can better propel you into joy, into self-awareness, into accepting ourselves as women with everything that we bring to the table, not just the service piece, but also the beauty, the joy, the softness that we hold within our roles, and the strength that we hold within our role as women as well. So, welcome, and let's have some fun in this conversation and learn, okay? Learn from each other. So, welcome, Claudia.
Hello.
Claudia
Thank you for
Azucena.
having me. Thank you for having me here. And yes, I'm going to tell you about my many titles, but I am a holistic healer. In my previous life, I like to call it, I was an expert, or I am an expert on human communication. Uh, my expertise is more towards kids, and I also hold a master's in human behavior. But with time, I came back. I don't know if I have to say like moving forward or moving like many generations behind. I don't know. Time is relative.
That's right.
Well, now I dedicate my life to more holistic ways to help other women embrace themselves. I am a green healer. I am an expert on herbal medicine, and I am a passionate of somatic arts. I'm a passionate of somatic healing. So that's me. And thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So funny story, the way that we met with Claudia Azucena, I ended up going to one of her classes, one of her somatic dance classes that she had. And it just so happened to be me in the class, which was for me, it's like, ooh, I get special treatment, right? I'm by
Yes,
myself.
yes.
And it was great to have her all to myself. And the universe just works in mysterious and beautiful ways. So it connected us, and we really
It
connect. I
did.
felt really connected, and
It did.
we met on a Saturday, and by Thursday we were already working together with a group of amazing, beautiful women,
It
right?
was so beautiful. It was so, oh my God. Yes,
Yes.
amazing.
So that's how we met, and here we are. I don't know, like maybe 2 weeks later, doing this podcast. So again, universe puts us where we need to be and aligns up with the people that we need to be with as well. And I think this conversation is so needed because we're all finding ourselves and finding our power, right? As women. So
It is really funny that you're saying all that because that week, especially that week, I put it into prayer that I wanted to be closer and be exposed to more women. Like it was the week that I decided, yes, I'm going to work with women. It was more like, I want to work with everybody. That week, it was like, I'm going to work more with women, with my people. And you show up, and here we are.
And here we
It's
are,
beautiful.
right? Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah, that was amazing. It's funny. I did the same thing, right? Like I was calling for my tribe. Like I needed community for myself, of people like you, right? I needed other healers in my life um to support each other. So here we are, and I love it. I am so excited to have you today so that we can learn a little bit about you and share with the world, because I think our stories are so important. And you have a beautiful story and life and medicine to share with us. So tell us a little bit more about you, okay? And maybe your journey as a woman, right? And how did you find we're talking about finding joy. Did you give permission to find joy, right? In spite of
Yes.
whatever struggles happened.
Yes. All right. So I have to tell you a little bit about my story to come to the good part.
Yes.
We have to start in the sad part. Sorry, but well, I have two kids. I married really young, as we all do, and I had zero awareness or consciousness. I was going with the flow, and yeah, I married. I had my two kids, and I was living life like an autopilot. I was not paying really a lot of attention to all the feelings and all the uh, press things that I had in my system. I was just going like a robot, like a machine, one day after the other. And yeah, it was really expensive on my health. It, it took a toll, and I am still paying, but I'm paying in a different way this time. But yeah, repressing your feelings and not taking time to get to know yourself, to take time for yourself, um, to do the things that we do for everybody, but for ourselves, it passes the bill. So in 2015, around 2013, my health started to decay really bad. And by 2015, I was diagnosed with severe depression, fibromyalgia, and yeah, the depression was there. And by 2017, it was already general anxiety disorder. And my mental health was really, really bad. Um, I have all the initials, all the I have CPTSD in my chart,
All the
and I
different
have
letters. Yeah.
all the letters. I have all the BPD.
All the
All are there
diagnosis.
lined up. All the diagnoses are there. And yeah, by 2015, 16, with all that information and looking at my health going really bad and not knowing what was going on, because I was doing all the things that the doctor said that I had to do, and still nothing was helping, not only physical but emotional. It was going, my life was going bad,
Bad.
bad, bad. So around that time, I decided to go back to therapy, and I decided to go back to the old ways, the ways that I saw in my grandma doing, um, talking about herbal medicine.
Okay.
Because emotionally wise, no, I am walking my own path. I am doing my own thing and in fear every single day. But it's good. It's good fear.
But you show up. You're doing it in fear, but you're showing up, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
you're creating and you're doing. Okay. So
right. So around 2016, 17, I started healing myself in a different way, in a more holistic way, in a more natural way, which opened the roads to not only in herbal medicine, but also emotionally, like going inwards, like going, um, it's not only medicine, there is also something going on. There is a root of a problem. Something is causing this. And yeah,
you went looking for the source
I
of the
went
problem.
inward. I went purposely, because before that, I don't know if you have talked about the dark night of the soul on your show, but before before 2019, I already had a couple of those fantastic dark nights that leave you like tweaking and trying to put yourself together. Yes, but in 2019, I went purposely in, like,
Okay. So let's
okay,
talk about
let's jump.
purposely in. What is that? What did that look like for you, purposely going in?
Uh, Many times life drags you into depression or the dark night of the soul, into looking at yourself and your own demons and your own fears and your own darkness. But it pushes you. It's like, you go now. This time it was purposely. It was like, okay, there is a root. There is something inside that is causing all these flares, all these fears, all these. There's something in. And I'm going in and look for it. So the way it looked was, um, I was crying all the time. All the time. I was peeing, I was crying. I was drinking coffee, I was crying. But there was not like, oh, I'm crying because of this specific thing. It was just crying.
Just tears flowing
Just
and
tears flowing down. So the way it looked was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down with myself and look, why am I crying? What is this feeling? What is going on? So instead of going, when we grow up, everybody tells you, oh no, don't be sad, it's okay. It's okay, look the balloon, or look, here are the flowers, or look, let's go do this. It was more like, oh fuck, I'm sad. I'm sorry,
that's okay. You
I
can
curse.
curse. That's okay.
I am sad. There is something here going on. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna experience the sadness, and my body wants to cry.
Wow. You gave yourself permission to feel,
Yes,
which is
yes,
very hard, like you're saying, for all of us, right? And yes, the dark night of the soul is not fun.
yeah,
It is for the brave, right? That's why I tell my clients, it is for the brave. Healing is for the brave. You know, you do have to go and look, and sit in that discomfort and in experiencing all these feelings that are not fun at all. Um, but in order for us to be able to move forward, like, we have to do it. And like you said, te sientan, right? Like, it was like, you have to do it now. Like, sometimes we make the choice, but sometimes it's like, no, this is the time. You need to sit with it. And that's why, like, it's automatic. The tears are just coming. And it's like, what is going on? Why am I crying driving to work? Why am I crying at 3 o'clock in the morning? Right.
right.
And sitting and asking those questions, for me, I think that's what brought the answers, right? But I had to give myself the time to sit with the question, and why is this feeling coming up? What are the thoughts that are sort of there that are driving this? Because, you
And
know,
the acknowledgement that, yeah, there is something there. There is something there bothering me, and let's look for it. Because many times we ourselves, we don't want to acknowledge that, yeah, I'm not feeling that great right now.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm gonna give myself permission to this.
yeah. And we
And
judge ourselves too, right?
yes,
It's like, I must be crazy. What's wrong with me? Right? Like, what's wrong with me? And instead of saying, well, something's happening, what is happening? It's a different
right,
perspective,
right.
But, and we welcome, and that's the welcoming of going in for me. Is that kind of what it was for you? Like, going
Yes,
in?
it was it was a whole experience going in. It was discovering things that I didn't want to see, and it was also discovering powers that I didn't know I had. So it was a whole experience, because you go in, and you go in one piece, and you come out you come out in some, like, if there will be a picture, a representation, come muddy and sweaty and nasty and in pieces, but so freaking strong. It's like those I don't know. They have the gladiator races. Have you seen those? That they go in the mud and the I feel like that. Honestly, when I now when I feel them coming, because it never stops. If someone tells you, this is something I want you guys to take a note.
Okay,
a note.
perfect. Yes.
Make a mental note or put it in your. If someone tells you that they are healed, they're lying. It's a lie. Move away from that coach, move away from that person, because nobody is completely healed. We're always healing. And if you think that you only have one dark night of the soul or two or three, my love, embrace yourself. If you wanna grow, and if you wanna be like the seriously the best version of who you are for yourself, just jump and jump again. Because we are phoenix. We are just that, a phoenix, rising up and rising up again.
Rising from the ashes, right?
Yes.
But we have to go through the fire to figure ourselves out.
But yeah, talking about the fear, the fear of feeling your feelings, right? When you have I discovered that when I gave myself permission to feel the sadness, in that moment when I did it more consciously, I also realized that I wasn't giving myself the permission to experience or live guilt-free all the happiness that was happening around of me. I was always scared to be happy, and I was always scared to smile, to dance, to listen to music, because all that had a price in my happiness. It came with a price.
Okay.
So that came up. That knowledge came from giving myself permission to feel the sadness. It was like, wait a minute. When was the last time I danced? When was the last time I sang? And this was very important for me. This was like a revelation to me, because I was a kid that was always dancing. I was a kid that was always singing. And my mom had these stories about me being like a baby, like in a taquito type of thing. And they will play music and I will be dancing.
You were moving
right?
as a baby.
I was always dancing. In Christmas, when I will go to grandma's house with all the cousins and tias and da-da-da, they were all like, oh, we're going to dance because Susie's here. I'm Susie. I was like, she has the music. I was the music. I was always dancing. However, in that moment when trauma was getting too big and too heavy, when everything was on top of me, with, well, I have to say the story too. I was going through divorce. My kids were going through their very own dark nights of the soul, because it hit us all at the same time. And everybody was going through really dark places in their own ways. And I realized that it was been years since I didn't sing, or since I didn't dance, or since I didn't give myself permission to be happy. Because it had a price. I will have to pay for that happiness.
Oh.
And I didn't discover that until I jumped purposely into the dark night of the soul. That very specific one. So yeah, it was eye-opening. It was a revelation. And after that, I noticed that not only me, but there are many, many, many people that live on fear of their own emotions. for that.
Yes. It's very scary, right? So as a therapist, I think when people come to me, they are starting to go through their dark night of the soul sometimes because they're ready, right? The ones that are coming because they're ready, they usually are willing to go into that path. And sometimes they come and they're not ready, right? They because again, it takes the bravery to go there, and to see it and to feel it and do it. But it is a conscious choice that you sort of have to make, right? The universe will push you to it, but you still have to make the choice to look at it, and then giving yourself permission, like you said, to, or recognizing that you were not dancing, you were not singing, and that you needed that, right? We need that in order for us to balance ourselves with all the mess that's going on. There's always something going on in our life, right? And in the world, but we need the joy. The joy is key to our healing. And if we don't have it, for sure, we suffer. And you said something that about there was a price to pay if I used the joy. So did you figure out what the price was if you were to tap into the joy when you were going through your dark night of the soul?
Well, well, when in that particular instance, in that particular moment, I noticed that I was living in an environment that was highly traumatic for me. It was a moment where I had the bravery to see that everything was an illusion, that I was not in a safe place, that the person that I thought was going to be my partner, it was not. We became enemies. Um, it was a moment where I realized that life was not the fairy tale that I thought, that I wanted to believe. Uh, in the beginning of this conversation, I told you that I was living in just like a robot, like I'm going through the motions.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying attention at how the environment I was living, uh, it was destroying my spirit. It was destroying my mental health. It was, it looked peaceful, but it was not peaceful. It was highly demanding on my soul. So it was a moment I realized, ooh, if I want to enjoy life, not just going through days like a shadow without soul, I have to make changes. And it's really difficult because one thing is to look at it. You can look at it. And the other thing is to actually take the steps and walk in a different path. And yeah, it was not fun,
Yeah.
but so rewarding, so rewarding. And if I have to do it 1,000 times again, I freaking do it 1,000 times again.
Yeah. So how did you find your joy? How did you find your joy? Because you were able to do that, right? You were able to make the choice for yourself. And that's what it is. We have to make the choice for ourselves. Even if we have children, the choice is that we don't want this life, or this life is not for me. I want more, right? And then giving ourselves permission to to do that, right? To want more,
Right,
even, right? And not feel
right.
like we're being selfish or egoístas, right? I guess it's the same thing, in the process, whether it's for our children or it's being, because I worked in domestic violence for a long time. So I know that a lot of the times it's like I have to stay because of the kids, right? And that is really hard because I guess that's what I'm saying. Like we feel like by leaving the relationship, it's like, okay, well then I'm being selfish because I'm not thinking of the kids. And it's the opposite, right? Like you are also choosing joy for your kids. But at that particular time it's really hard. So how were you able to go from going into the dark night of the soul, being able to see clearly what was in front of you, what life you were living, okay? What were maybe some of the lessons that you learned from your dark night of the soul, or in hindsight looking at your relationship, okay, and your lifestyle the way that it was? What were some of the lessons you picked up from there that gave you strength to propel you to where you are now, right? And embracing joy?
The lessons. It is for the kids. It is always for the kids. If you have babies, it is always for the kids. And also, when you think, okay, in the beginning of my relationship or my kid's life, you stay for the kids. And yes, you stay for the kids. Many times it's valid. You stay
Yes.
for the kids. And many times you leave for the kids. In my particular case, I stayed for them and they were really happy until they were not. And oh, my brain is going poofy. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Uh,
That's okay. So you were staying for.
so so yeah, they wanted to stay, right? And you listen to your kids. And if you have to stay for them, don't be too hard on yourself. Life is going to move you in the way that it has to happen. Just be aware that you have to be aware. You have to be like this. Always paying attention because the moment will come. The moment will arise when your kids tell you it is time to go. It is time. And when that happens, you go. And that's exactly what happened. I stayed for the longest time, and we had like a business arrangement. We were not a couple. It was more like we have this enterprise together and we're gonna finish it together because we have this enterprise together and my kids want you with them. Until they didn't, and until it was not viable, it was not doable, and it was not safe for my kids anymore. And they were very vocal to say it, like, we want to go. And that day, it was the very last day, like I grabbed my chonies and I was like, bye, buddy. Bye. Because I was always aware that I was staying because of them. And I was doing arrangements and I was doing business arrangements for my kids. So yeah, um, my what I can tell you is if you have to stay, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're doing something
Yeah,
bad for them or to them. Everybody has their own experience.
that's right.
I, from my experience, there were certain instances that sometimes I feel like, why did I stay? They had to go through this. Now they had to go through this and they have their own trauma. God damn it. And guess what? They needed that trauma because they have their own path, because they have their own work that they are going to do, because they have their own, um, um,
Journey.
yeah, like their journey as healers, and they need certain experiences so they can help others.
Yeah.
Because if you don't feel it, you don't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah. And I think that's really hard, right? So as we talk about the night, dark night of the soul and going into our own wounds, that we have that haven't, that need looking at because they're unhealed. Um, I think of my own. Like I was my household, there was definitely domestic violence. And I'm like, those I look at those as lessons. So this is where I go into transmuting, right? And alchemizing that energy and looking at the lessons from that experience because I still learn, right? It was hard. Obviously, nobody wants that, right? None of us want our children to go through hardship and through trauma, but life experiences put us there, right? And like you were saying, for the moms or for dads who are in an abusive relationship, everybody gets there in their own time, right? Everybody will get to their decision, whatever their decision is, in their own time. And that's really hard for people not in our the TV world to understand. Um, so I just want to clarify that it is we're not wishing harm on anybody, but obviously we all have experiences and we all have the freedom of choice. Okay. And when I believe in divine timing too. And when the right time comes, we are going to make that choice. But we have to respect other people's decisions as hard as it is because it is their journey. We all have our own personal
Right.
journey that we are living in this life, right? And every situation teaches us lessons. And for us, it's deciphering those lessons, right? And figuring out what can I take from here, right? That's going to be helpful. And what do I need to let go of that I don't need it right now. Maybe I'll need it later, but maybe I don't need it at this particular moment. So the journey, it's very interesting, but it's very personal. Everybody has their own journey. The children do too, right? They're going through their own life experience because we all have a role to play here in this world. And we all have gifts, right, that we bring to the table. And sometimes in order to make those gifts stronger, certain experiences have to happen. And yeah,
something that we have to embrace as human beings, as parents, and as children of someone else. We are all doing the best we can with the skills with the skills we have and with what we have.
yes,
That is going that knowledge we are all doing the best we can with what we have. It changed my life towards like how I feel with my parents, or how I feel with things that happened in the past. Now I feel even grateful. Like, dude, my dad, like he stayed, he did what he could.
yes.
You know,
They did what they could with what they have, and
right,
and a lot of times, we feel like the people that hurt us, are the ones that need to give us the validation, or are the ones that need to, I don't want to say the permission, but we kind of put those requirements in our healing journey sometimes, that we need them to acknowledge what they did, or we need them to know, right? And accept the responsibility. And it's like,
we still need that. We still want them to come and put the band-aid on.
yes.
And
sometimes that doesn't happen. And even if it happens, that still doesn't fix it, because we have to do the work ourselves. We have to be the ones to give our validation. We have to be the ones to say, you know what, that was terrible. That shouldn't have happened to you.
right,
And also the hardest part is having the empathy, right, for our parents, that at that time maybe they did the best thing that they could with what they have. Empathy
right,
for ourselves too, and not be so judgmental, that at the time we made the decisions we made, and at the time we did the best that we could with the tools that we had, right? Maybe now in hindsight we can say, well, I could have done this, I could have done that, because we have more tools now. But at the moment, maybe we didn't have access to those tools, right? So having the mindset of what lessons are we learning from our hardships, I think for me it's key. And being able to let go, right, of the baggage that we don't need, and then being able to move forward and allow ourselves joy, right? And I think people have a hard time figuring out, how do we do that, right? How do we change this? How do we alchemize this? How do we move the negative energy and utilize it to our you know to our benefit?
yeah. And I think we're going back to, I didn't answer how did I come
Yeah.
out, because I said how.
Mhm.
And the how is not just like, oh, take this tea. It's multidisciplinary.
Yes.
It's a whole bunch of stuff. Or it's not just like, oh, go do exercise 30 minutes a day. No, no, no. It takes therapy. It takes the right therapy. I, I want to emphasize this. Many times we go to therapy and we think, oh, 3 months of therapy is going to help and I'm cured. And no, there are many types and different styles of therapists. Um, Therapy is for life. For life, you might take breaks. Yes, it's okay to take breaks. But a lifelong of healing, it takes a lifelong of someone supporting you. Also, it's proven that through therapy and having someone giving you that time, especially for you as a woman, it raises your estrogen. Like, it makes us more healthy. Just like that. It balances your feminine energy in a beautiful way. So it's therapy and having a routine where you give time and space for yourself. like waking up and drinking water first thing in the morning, taking care of your machine and with water, meditation, giving time to your feelings. Um, we have seen it, people that cry and they can't stop. Well, that's exactly what I did. When I needed to cry, I sat and I cry. And I not just crying because well my body wants to cry. No, I will sit down and picture my little girl, little Susie, what did little Susie needs at this very moment, and what little Susie needs for her to feel permission, for her to have permission and feel that permission to feel everything. It's a lot of feel, but yeah,
Yes, I
it's
love feeling. Yeah, nurturing your inner you, right? Our inner child, our the baby or the child within us that experienced all the stuff that did not get the validation that because we just moved on with life, right?
right. So it's just a whole bunch of reparenting yourself and always thinking what that little kid or that little teenager needs.
Needed at that
And
time.
mhm, yeah,
And
and
giving
yeah,
it to them. So what did you give yourself, your teenager? What are some of the things that you gave to nurture your inner you?
uh, it varies. It depends on who needs the pampering. The little, the, your little child may need, I don't know. Mine, she loves quiet places, ice cream, and dancing.
That
She
sounds delicious.
loves that. She loves that. So thingies and dancing. Dance are like dress up. Maybe that's why I always look so different. Cause I'm like, yeah, I,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
dress up.
that's
The teenager, it's your rage stage. If you have found your inner teen, God bless your soul. God bless your soul.
we need to go to like a breaking room, right, where you can break stuff and scream.
I thought when I learned about all this, and I went in and I found my inner child, I was like, oh, poor baby. But boy, when I found my inner teen, it was like, oh my God, what happened here? It was worse. It was like I was thinking like, oh, my inner child was so sad. No, that was
Raging.
nothing. It was nothing. So
Oh,
it depends. It
yeah.
depends. Like,
Depends what
yeah,
stage of your inner you you're at.
or who needs attention, and it's very uh, rewarding to have the time, like to give yourself the time. Okay, who needs attention right now? Why am I feeling all this? And is it fear or is it madness or what is it? Sit down, okay, and find those pieces of you that need attention. It is so rewarding. And just go and break something
Yeah.
or not.
Right. Maybe you need to go, I don't know, go punch something, right? Go punch the pillow, go punch, go take one of
It
the
is so,
boxing classes.
yeah,
I don't know,
it is so
something.
cool to have targeted activities where okay, my inner teen needs attention or some type of reward. Like right now, I'm gonna take my inner teen to destroy something at a restaurant.
Nice.
Uh, and every time I feel like, "Ah," I'm thinking, hold it. April 15, you will get your chance. And suddenly it's like, yeah, April 15, I'm gonna put this in my list. You will have to get out that day. And that's
You schedule your inner teen rage. That's awesome. I love it.
because
I think that's perfect, but it's self-awareness, right? But it took that you sitting with you that now you understand it and now you know it when this sort of needs come. I'm gonna call them needs. The need to
yes,
to dance, to rage, to sing, to dress up, to go jump rope, whatever it is. For everybody's different, right? Um, but having the self-awareness and building that, I think, is part of the
right,
process. That you give yourself the time to explore. You gotta
right,
explore. And because we're busy, all the time, we think that we are not worth it. right? Like we don't give ourselves our time to explore that, to just sit and be like, oh, or even while we're cooking or cleaning or whatever, let our mind wander and say, what what do I need right now? A lot of us can answer that question. We don't know what we need. We're like, I don't know. What do you mean? What do I need? Right? I need a drink. That's where we go. And it's like, well, no, like, what do you need? Like, that's a deeper question. And so sitting with
Right.
ourselves and having those deeper questions, I think it's important
Yeah.
to give ourselves that time and know that it's okay for us to give ourselves that time because
Right.
we don't. We don't because we're always busy doing something. But how awesome that so the I was going with that because the self-awareness is key, right? It's key in recognizing what we need. And I love that you're able to name exactly what your teen needs. I don't know that I've gotten to my teenage. No, maybe I have. My teenage was just I don't know. I was depressed as a teenager, so it just needed solitude. And I think that's where I went, right? I was in my hermit mode for the past few months and needed just aloneness. But I'm ready, right? That's how I found you because I'm like, nope, I gotta push myself. But you do, and I think this is what people think is gonna come easy, and it doesn't come easy. Sometimes you do have to push yourself because you don't want to do it, you know.
No,
Um,
it doesn't. It doesn't come easy, especially because for what you're saying, that our environments, society is not always ready for you to express your feelings. Like if you're sad, oh no, don't be sad. If you're upset, oh, or if you're moody, or the last drop, the last drop that seriously pissed me off was when I realized that I was not giving myself permission to be happy because bad things happen around me when I was happy. You know, not everybody can accept your happiness.
oh, that's a good one. Yes, not everybody can accept your happiness. That is a that is big. Let's talk about that a little bit. How are we doing here? We're good. Because I think when I sit with clients, that's one of their things. As they start changing and they start, healing, right, parts of themselves, the
Right.
people around them don't like it because they want the old them, right?
Uh-huh.
And because that's what they know. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
wait a minute, why can't you do this favor for me, right? If we were the yes person all the time, it's like, well, why can't you do it? You're just being selfish or you're so mean. And it's like they give you all this negative feedback when you are asserting yourself, right? And
Uh-huh.
asking for your time and asking for respect. And not you're not the same old you. So I think people are definitely have a hard time accepting that. And then people revert back because they think, well, you know,
Uh-huh.
they want that old me back, right? Or I'm trying and it's not working. And you do have to get over that hump of people are not gonna like it. And recognizing that for me, it was like recognizing that people are just we're not responsible for other people's feelings. And that was so liberating, right?
That, oh my, yes. And mm, yeah, I think it's really important and it changes your life.
Mhm.
It changes everything around you. When you realize you, the only person, the only person that has been with you in the worst moments of life, the only person that has truly been there with you, it's who?
Me.
You.
Yeah, it's us. Yeah.
The only person that I should be worried about of not hurting her feelings, of being loyal and being fair and listen. It's me. I'm the only one that was sitting there crying next to me. That those nights, it was only me. So when I realized that, um, yeah, people were not ready for me to be happy. In fact, people many times put extra time on darkening your light, on like
Mhm.
turning down your light. When I realized that, wait a minute, well, yeah, these people were important for me. They were important for me, but um, it's not good for me. It's not being good. It's not being positive. I'm getting sick. And who is more important? It was me.
That's right. Surprise.
So yeah,
Surprise. It was you. Yes.
it was really hard because in that process, I lost, and I'm gonna put it here my quotes, best friends. I lost soul sisters that once you start shining and start coming out of that nasty place and you are ready to claim who you are.
Yeah.
Like, this is me, and I like to do these things, and I am worth these type of interactions. I don't want these interactions anymore. Thank you very much. I'm cleaning my energy. I really don't want this type of interactions anymore. Thank you. You lose people.
Yes.
But guess what? Other people come around. Um, and you gain intimacy with someone like so freaking cool. It's amazing.
Right? Isn't it amazing that it's just like instant? It's instant, right? I think when the energy is right and when you find your right people, there's no effort. And I think
No,
we have been conditioned that we have to prove ourselves to everything that we do, right? We have to
right,
produce to be recognized. We have to, the more we do, the more money we're going to get, right? We have this
right,
lack mindset, right? That's something I've been trying to heal, because it's like I don't need to work my ass off to get,
right,
you know what I mean? Like I should be able to not work as much in order to still receive, right? But because we're just in this
right.
masculine energy that we've been built, okay? My God, that's another topic. But that we don't
I'm
allow
trying.
ourselves.
I am trying so
So people, we connected also on our business, okay? That we're trusting the universe, right? But and embracing our receiving era or time, but it's hard because we've been so conditioned that we have to produce to receive,
right.
and that goes with the lack mindset, but also with the we're not worthy enough, right?
Uh-huh.
And coming to the realization that we are already worthy, we are whole, the universe just hasn't, not the universe, but the world hasn't kept up, right? Like I think that's the
Right.
changing, but we are already whole and we are already worthy of love and belonging and of abundance. So we don't need to
Uh-huh.
work so hard, but it's hard to trust and it's hard to surrender into that because of that condition, right? That we have within us. And let go of that. So that one is still one that it's a work
I'm
in progress.
I'm still working on that one. I'm still working on that
It's a
one.
work in process, but it's gonna come. We trust. And I forgot how I got there, anyways. But
I don't know, masculine energy. I
I know it's
don't
throwing
know.
us off. Let's come back to the women. Um, I think we got there because it's. I think it is the. We were talking about how the surrender or giving ourselves the permission, right? The permission to feel and to enjoy, or how the people come, like that connection. That connection is instant and
Uh-huh.
letting go. That's what we're talking about. Sorry, people. Our brains, okay, do their thing. Um, so it's when you align with the people that are for you. You don't have to prove yourself. That's what we're talking about. We don't have to prove ourselves. We just are, and we're
Right.
accepted. And there's nothing else, right? And that's why it's so easy. So that is one of the tips or the clues maybe to look for in your relationships. If your relationships you're giving so much and you just giving and giving and giving and not quite receiving, then maybe that is not very healthy, okay? And maybe that is not aligned with you. And those are the ones that are gonna fall off the plate first, okay? When you are finding
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. One way for me, like, I don't even have to give to anybody, or they don't even have to ask from me anything. But if an interaction feels like my soul got like drained,
Yeah.
like I feel nasty, like, ugh, I check what interaction I had this day that left me like this. Because it's a way, being aware of how you're feeling constantly and how your energy drains or stays or even enlightens more. Like, oh, I feel like super. pumped today, and I feel like, well, I can tackle the world. What happened? Oh, I was with Marilyn today, type of thing, you know?
I feel the same, right? Which I'm like, oh yes, right? It's the women power, but it's the right people, right? It's the right people.
Right.
You have to find your vibe, and people are going to fall off when you start changing because
Yes.
guess what?
And that's okay.
Yeah,
And that
that's okay.
everything is gonna be okay.
That's right. Everything is gonna be okay. They might not like it, but that's not for you to fix. Okay, that's not for you to fix. You focus on you, and it sounds selfish, but it's not. Because when you focus on you, you can give more. Okay. You can
Right.
give more because you are healthier. You are, your well being is better mentally, physically, spiritually. You're more connected. And therefore, you can give more to the world and to the people around you and to yourself because now you're taking care of you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something that a revelation that came to me in the car, and I was cracking up. You know, I'm like, really, universe? It's all about self care all this time. That's what it's been about. Like that was the big secret, you know, that I had to come full
That was a
circle
big
on.
secret. That was a big secret. Oh yes, I remember when I found out. I felt like an I don't know if you have read the book The Alchemist by Paulo
Not
Coelho.
todavía, no, it's on my list. Yes.
You have to read it. I felt like that, like, oh, a whole circle, a
Mm-hmm.
whole circle.
Yep. All this time. Woo, woo,
All
woo.
this
Oh,
time,
there it was. Like really?
right under me. Okay.
Yeah. So that's definitely, you know, self-care is key. And you're worth it. And you don't have to prove yourself. You should just be you. People
Right.
will accept you or not. It is the choice, all right? But
Mm-hmm.
it is their choice. For you, you don't have to feel like you have to prove yourself. It's just be you. And things will flow because that's how things happen. So I found you. And that's how I found Cynthia, who's gonna be in the next podcast, right?
Yay!
Whom the same. We connected over Instagram. I had never met her in person, but it was an instant connection. I don't know,
That's so
right?
cool.
So
That's great.
so yeah, so it's amazing. But I see that we have a few minutes, so we have like 5 minutes to wrap up. Um, so I don't know. In the last 5 minutes, anything that we haven't talked about that you want to share?
Uh, well, yeah, my brain is going poof.
Okay, take a
Well,
breath, and they'll come back to you.
what do I want to share? Well, maybe that now, uh, after all these experiences, this is how I focus my energy, and this is how I transmute my energy um, by creating spaces for people who want to experience more of themselves, or reminding them constantly that it's okay to take space for yourself, because we tend to forget.
Yeah.
I tend to forget. Wait a minute, I haven't even I forget that it's been all my life um, leaving myself to the very last, and then not taking care of that. That now it takes practice. So be compassionate because it takes practice. It doesn't come easy. Um, it needs to be scheduled because it doesn't come
That's
easy.
right. It doesn't happen. Yeah, if you don't do it.
And sometimes sometimes we schedule things and then we don't do them. So you have to be really serious about this. It's very important medicine for the future. And when you heal, it seems selfish, paying attention to yourself and just focus on yourself and how you are feeling. And I know it sounds selfish, but it is not. Because when you do that, uh, everybody's watching. And when you're taking space for yourself, somehow, don't ask me exactly how, I'm figuring that out. Somehow you give permission to the next one to do it.
Yes. Yes. We're modeling.
Yes, and it's like somehow the fear that was mixed in them and you and the environment, it starts to go away. And yeah, it might sound selfish, just focus on yourself, but believe me, it is not. It is uh, an act of love for you and for the world.
Yeah,
So
I love that. An act of love for you and for the world. So yes, people, please remember that, right? Self-care is an act for you and for the world. If we are okay, we
it's
are
an act of love.
changing. Yes,
Yeah.
and we're changing the energy around us too. That's why it's an act of love for the world, because when we bring up the vibes, okay, we bring up the vibrations to good ones, good vibes, and we putting them out there and we're spreading them out, and the people around us that are watching, like you said, right, are also picking up on those vibes, and they'll get FOMO and they want to do it
It's
too.
a chain. It's a chain. It's a
Yes,
chain.
it
Yes.
is. So
Yes.
we're all one. We're all connected. We're all one. So if we heal ourselves, we are healing someone else too. Whether it's our children, whether it's our parents, whether it's our grandmas, whether it is the people we work with, whoever, people around us. Okay, maybe it's the person we smiled at that we didn't smile at before when we were walking on the street. So
Everybody's watching.
everybody's watching and everybody's connected. So I think the message for women, right, is give yourself permission, give yourself the space. And I know what you're going to say, because we all say it. There's no time. There's no time. The time is there. We need to make it happen. Okay. Because we make everything else happen. That means that we can make also things happen for us, and give ourselves permission to do it, to go and explore. And I think that's the other one. Go explore. So talk therapy is one of the venues, but then we have somatic therapy. It's movement. You don't have to talk. So for the people that are not talkers, or that don't even know what's going on, right? Because sometimes we don't know. We just know something's happening, but we don't exactly know what's driving it or what's causing it. So we are just, go dance. Okay, go find your somatic therapist. Go find Claudia. I will put her stuff, in the links in there, for you to go and go and sign up for one of her classes. You can sing. You can go. You do a lot of other things too, right? You can find your soul in a spiritual way by connecting to nature, by um, writing. So explore what you need, because we're all different. Okay.
Right.
And talk therapy might be great for some people, but maybe it's for some others not. Okay. Or maybe it works great for certain things, but then we need extra. Like you said, we need extra. We need a variety of things that is not just one.
It's a multidisciplinary adventure. Healing your soul is a multidisciplinary adventure, because many times you go to therapy and you talk it out, but once you acknowledge it, you have to explode it. And that is where somatic arts come really handy. And you can meditate, you can tap, you can dance, you can breath work. Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
And you can,
aromatherapy, everything,
uh,
right? Sound
yes,
therapy, sound healing. There's so much. So be open, right? Be open-minded and explore, because maybe, one of those will work. Okay, in open
I,
yourself up and giving yourself permission to feel, but also to have fun. Okay, to be open
right.
to joy, and to happiness, because we are all worthy of it, all of us.
Yes. And the more you experience it and the more you try things, the more that fear, it starts to go away.
Yep. All right. Well,
All right.
Azucena, Claudia, Azucena, thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much. Oh my God, what a wonderful conversation. We're gonna have to come back another
I
time and
know.
talk about something different, okay? Because there's so much for us to tap on. Um,
I am here when you want me. I am here when you want me. This is my mission,
yeah, but
to help others wake up.
yeah. So tell us where to find you. Um,
Thank you. You can find me at huntedandholly.com. It's just huntedandholly.com. No and. Um, my babies picked the name.
so cute.
Uh, and you can find there my classes. I'm gonna be at Cubo in Long Beach all May on Saturdays, giving somatic healing experiences. You can find my natural and botanical medicines right there in huntedandholly.com. And yes, all my services as a healer, I am trying to put them all there, because the spirit is using me in different ways. So I'm just You can find me there.
Yes, so you can find her there. Like I said, I'll put the links and the information on the description
Or
so
on
everybody can follow
Instagram
you.
too, Hunter and Holly.
And I found her on TikTok, so that's how I found her.
Yes. I am like everywhere.
I hear you. Hey, I'm with you, right? We're putting ourselves out there, and
Yes.
that's the way it needs to be. So, but thank you so much. It's such a special
Thank you, my
joy
love.
to share this space with you, and then we'll have you again. So don't go too far.
Cool.
And then
Cool. I want. I'm gonna be here.
yeah, and thank
All
you
right.
everyone. Thank you everyone for listening. And we just encourage you again just to give yourself permission to find joy and explore, and to continue to encourage you as you go through your healing journey, by remembering it's a lifelong journey. So we have to kind of keep ourselves on check, because nobody else is, or they might, but it's still up to us to do it. So thank you so much. We love you so much, and I will see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.